Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Joyful Journeys as we highlight our alumni and special people throughout our history of Girls on the Run. We are currently celebrating 25 years in Northern Virginia and highlighting everyone who's been a part of that history. So today I'm excited to have Hailey Walcott join us. Welcome, Hailey.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to hear your Girls on the Run story. When we met at a physical therapy clinic, I was just so excited to hear that you were an alumni and that we kind of like had that connection already. So I'm just excited to hear about your time and your memories from Girls on the Run. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of about your Girls on the Run memories and experiences?
Yeah. So my name is Haley, and I had participated in Girls on the Run from around 2010 to 2011. I was about third or fourth grade at the time, and I just moved to the area. It was pretty new. I went to Emmerich Elementary School in Percival, so it was really special getting to meet a lot of new people around me through Girls on the Run. And I was just very fortunate to have so many positive experiences through the program. I was very motivated to do the program through my mom, who was a marathon runner, and she was also a part of a running group in Percival. So she was like, "Oh, you totally got to do it. You're going to meet so many cool people, learn so many cool things." And I just felt like I was following in her footsteps, and I was very excited to do it. And my Girl Scout troop leaders, Tracy Pascalone and Lori DeHart, were the coaches for that chapter of Girls on the Run. So it was a very easy transition into practices, into race days. I was very familiar with a lot of the girls. So I was just so excited to be supported by a lot of familiar faces and get to go out there, enjoy a sport that I was pretty new to at the time, but also, get to be proud of reaching my goals.
Wow, I love that. That's so neat how it just kind of seemed like you already had a connection with like the running community, even though you weren't necessarily a runner already, but and you still had connections to your coaches already. So I love that. That's awesome. I would love to get your take on Girls on the Run and Girl Scouts as someone who did both and
Mhm.
as they're similar activities. I mean, you are learning key life skills in both activities, but I'd love to hear your take on how they were similar, but also how they were different.
Yeah, so it was really cool getting to do Girls on the Run with some of my Girl Scout, fellow Girl Scouts. And honestly, I felt like a lot of the values were very shared between both programs, about teamwork, dedication, reaching goals, also girlhood, just, making sure you're looking out for one another, motivating one another. And I felt like, especially in the practice days leading up to race days, we were all kind of hyping each other up, making sure we were doing our very best. So I really found it to be a very comfortable transition between, not being much of a runner myself, but also getting to do it with people that I was starting to get to know a little bit more, and just doing it together.
Yeah, that's so nice that there was kind of a continuation of people who did both. So it wasn't like you were starting totally fresh in one thing. You still knew a couple people and you kind of like had that comfortableness of, hey, this is a new experience, but I know some people. We're gonna stick together. We're gonna get through it. So
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit more about like some of just your favorite memories. Like when you think back to your Girls on the Run days, what's like that first really happy memory that you have?
For me, that would definitely be race days. I felt like I was just so excited. Like I couldn't even sleep the night before. I'd lay out my little race day outfit, my Girls on the Run t-shirt, and my mom and I would also make like at the time we were doing iTunes playlists, and I would make the playlist for my little iPod shuffle. And I just was so excited to finally put all my hard work, put it towards the one thing I've been looking forward to so much. And just crossing that finish line was just such an amazing feeling for me. And I'm so excited to start applying, what I've learned in the basics and the fundamentals of the program to, my training right now. Oh, and another GOTR memory that I have is we were running a reindeer romp, and I remember this was a race that my dad ran with me because most of the races I had done with my mom or with my teammates, and we were running down Reston Town Center. It was super cool because they had all the Christmas decorations and everyone was hyped for the holiday season. And I think it was just a little bit before the finish line that it started snowing. And I just remember being so happy and overjoyed and being able to finish that race. I remember we all went out for hot chocolate after that. And it
Oh,
was just such a sweet memory of mine. And it really was a good way to get into the holiday season.
oh, that's like the perfect place for it to start snowing too. Like
I
I've
know.
been there at Christmas time and just like that huge tree to the side and running past it down that straightaway to the finish line. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
If I if I could ever run a race there at that time and it started snowing, I think I might cry as I cross the finish line.
I know.
Oh, that's so cool. Did you afterwards did you go out to get hot chocolate with your team or was it just like a you and your family thing?
It was a couple of our teammates. At that point, we were all like, "Are we gonna do it? We're gonna go." And so we had gone over, got some hot chocolate, and then probably like croissants and all that. So it was just super fun.
That's so cute. I love that. I love seeing when teams finish the 5K and either like they kind of hang around and cheer their other teammates on as they cross the finish line, or they all like set a plan to gather afterwards and they take a group photo before and after, and some of them will go out to eat breakfast afterwards, but just kind of seeing them all celebrate themselves and each other is it's so special.
Yeah, I especially love cheering on the other chapters of Girls on the Run. It was fun, kind of getting to meet new faces, be like, "Oh my God, we did it! We did it together!"
Yes, yes. Oh, I love that.
So I very fondly have been looking back on those memories as I, up my mileage, making sure I'm meeting my goals, and also just spending more time with my classmates. I was pretty new to the area when I was doing Girls on the Run. I had just moved to Purcellville, Virginia, so it was really cool getting to know my friends a little bit better, meeting some new faces, and also getting to do the race days with my parents was really fun.
That's such a great way to kind of include everyone in your bubble, like in your community. It sounds like they all had a special place there.
It was really cool.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. Well, kind of like you mentioned, Girls on the Run taught you like those basic life skills, those like key fundamentals. How do you use them in your everyday life now or like in your professional life?
Yeah. So I definitely feel like I'm able to better plan, small ways to get to a big goal. So, just taking things one step at a time, making sure that I, not only check in, am I doing too much right now? Do I need to kind of scale back? Kind of that race day mentality. I feel like that really applies to my professional life. And also just like more on the fundamentals of running. Just taking breaks now and again. It's good to put in some time for recovery, also making sure hydration, fueling your body properly, and also talking to others if you need help, or getting advice from anybody who might have some insights on what you're looking for.
Yeah, I love that. Did you ever realize when you were in Girls on the Run that you were learning these like really key life skills that you were going to use later on in life?
I think at the time I wasn't thinking how big of an impact it would be. I was kind of like just, taking it practice by practice, being like, oh yeah, I can do this. This is cool. And I think, reflecting on that now, it's really awesome that I value, health and fitness in my life. I really feel like I was saying earlier, making sure you're properly taking care of your body, your mind, checking in with yourself every so often. That is something that has been a huge takeaway from the program.
Yeah, those are such important things. And I'm so glad that you got those out of it and that they still have such a prevalent place in your life now. Like
Mhm.
that's pretty special.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about what you do professionally, what you do on a day-to-day basis, kind of what your hobbies are, where you are now.
Yeah. So I'm currently the marketing coordinator, also the front desk girl at Infinity Performance PT in Ashburn. We are a physical therapy clinic with an amazing staff of doctors who work with a lot of athletes in the area. We work with a lot of runners in the area, which is super cool. And also I do sports photography, so I definitely have an influence from, doing athletics all of my life. I played multiple sports, a lot of volleyball, and so that has a direct impact on my art practice. And I've worked with a bunch of different teams. Most recently, I've done a lot of work with Old Glory Rugby, which is the DC major team, as well as the Washington Wizards through Monumental Sports. So I'm very, very grateful that I'm able to kind of intertwine my interests with my professional life. So very, very cool and very grateful for what I do.
That is super cool. It definitely, I mean, I assume for me at least, it makes it not feel like work.
Yeah, I definitely, it doesn't feel like much at all. I'm like, yeah, I get to go do what I do.
Ah, that's so cool. I love that. Love that, love that. Um, is there anything that like it doesn't have to be recently, but since your time in Girls on the Run, has
Mhm.
anything ever come up or anything happened and it kind of makes you think back like, oh, hey, like, thanks, GOTR, for teaching me that, or like anything you're like, oh yeah, like that kind of unlocks like a key GOTR moment for me.
Hmm, that's a good question. I would say just finding the motivation, even on the really hard days, just kind of pushing through and making sure you kind of cross that finish line to get what you need to get done. I feel like there are days where, maybe I don't want to go out for a run, or maybe I feel, tired to go do this thing, but kind of just really refocusing and training your mind to just go do what you were setting out to do. I feel like that. And also just, togetherness and checking in with people around you. I feel like, working with so many girls who were at different levels of running, and I wasn't like I definitely was not up there with the other girlies, but I think it's also just kind of like um, being in tune with the people around you and just checking in with others. I feel like that was a huge takeaway as well.
Yeah, and that's so important for so many aspects of just human interaction, like knowing where other people are and kind of meeting them where they are, making sure you're like respecting their needs, you're giving them what they want, but also just kind of just being a good human and being able to to treat them well.
Mm-hmm.
That. All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps everything up. Hailey, thank you again so much for joining us. This was great to hear about more in depth about your Girls on the Run experience.
Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
All right. Thank you everyone for listening in and keep tuning in as we continue our year highlighting our amazing alumni just like Hailey. This episode of Joyful Journeys is brought to you by Girls on the Run of Northern Virginia.